Andy Johnson, Minnesota State University. Brief overview of phonics. Phonics. If the only tool you have is a hammer, all the world becomes a nail. If the only tool you have to teach reading is phonics, all the world becomes a phonics worksheet. Now, it's not the what of phonics instruction. All teachers think that phonics must be taught. It's the how and the how much of phonics that is in question. Phonics is the ability to associate sounds with letters or letter patterns, but it is one of 6 ways used to identify words as we are reading. And the others are listed right there. It should never be taught as the sole component of a reading or intervention problem. Phonics is important, it's necessary, but not sufficient. Phonics knowledge is important, heavy phonics is not. And research in 1997 found that emphasis on code-oriented activities, just phonics, showed no reliable gains on word reading or comprehension. And that's what reading is. It is comprehending. It is creating meaning with print. Now, a lot of students who struggle with reading struggle specifically with phonics, with letter-sound association. But instead of developing the other 2 cueing systems, semantics and syntax, we focus on what they can't do. So in a sense, we're teaching a one-handed person to clap. Good instruction, good reading instruction, good reading intervention simultaneously develops all 3 cueing systems. It's not that phonics isn't important, but if that's all you emphasize, the other 2 cueing systems are allowed to atrophy. Here are all strategies to develop syntax, and you can stop and pause and look at these. I've got some YouTube mini lectures on these as well. Here are strategies to develop semantic cueing, which is using context. Close, a sentence with a word missing, and maze, sentence with 2 or 3 alternatives. Molly loves to plan, play, put. All right? 2 of these are the same grammatical function, and 1 is a distractor. Helps students develop the ability to use context. Now, you can use them as pre-reading activities related to vocabulary or story elements to get them ready. So you're getting them ready to read at the same time you're helping to develop the semantic cueing system, as well as post-reading activities related to the content. And this helps you see if students are grasping, are comprehending what they read. Phonics instruction, you should teach the minimum amount of phonics necessary for a student. Remember, good readers use very minimal letter cues. Keep instruction explicit, short, and briskly pace anywhere from 2 to no more than 10 minutes. Now, you should have a systematic plan, systematic phonics instruction. Everyone agrees that this is important. It means that you have a general plan. It does not mean that you have a rigid adherence to a pre-described or prescribed order. All right, there's a difference, systematic. Now, here is a common scope and sequence. Now, from what we know about brain research and about the relative unimportance of vowels, teaching these explicitly does not make a lot of sense. Now remember, the English language is not very phonetically based. There are too many inconsistencies. I recommend that you simple it up. Now remember, efficient readers use very minimal letter cues. Teach the consonants, vowels, long vowels, blends, sight words, and phonograms are the 38 most common phonograms. That's my advice unto you. And to be systematic, document when you teach a skill and when students master a skill. I recommend the phonics checklist. This gives you a sense of what skills to teach, and you simply document when you taught them. Systematic. This gives you a sense, enables you to make sure that you're teaching all of them. Same with sight words, and the same with the 38 most common phonograms. Also, keeping a simple individual checklist for each student in a 3x5 3-ring binder. You can listen to 3 students a day read, or you can walk around and circulate, and in every 3 weeks you'll have a very direct form of assessment. You document when you observe mastery of each of these reading sub-skills. Synthetic phonics is what we traditionally think of phonics instruction. You identify letter sounds first, put them together. Synthetics, just like synthetic fabric. Analytic phonics, you analyze sounds within words that students already know. You're reading a book about the big bunny, where's the word? Which one is better? I recommend you do both of them. There's no one approach, but lean more heavily on analytic phonics. Scaffolded writing, assistant, and these are all great ways to learn phonics, letter sound association, because students are sounding out words as they are writing. Dictated writing, again, is another great way to reinforce phonics. And you can include in your dictated writing phonograms you're trying to target, or sight words you're trying to target, or even letter sounds that you have students dictate and write. 3 to 6 words in a sentence. And again, the optimal amount of phonics is the minimum amount students need to become independent readers. Writing using temporary spelling. I don't know how to spell a word, Dr. Johnson. Well, just put a letter or two to hold the idea, and you hear students sounding out dinosaur. Good phonics instruction should involve reading practice as well. Some words in isolation, but most of the words they encounter should be in the context of authentic text. And of course, writing as well. Remember, we don't really teach reading. We create the conditions whereby students are able to develop their ability to create meaning with print.